Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm excited to introduce our presentation on the importance of brotherhood and ethical conduct in Islam. The title of our talk is Values of Unity and Respect in Muslim Society. Today, we'll explore key teachings from the Hadith of Abu Hurairah that emphasize brotherhood, justice, and piety among Muslims. We'll discuss how these principles foster a harmonious community and guide our daily interactions. So, let's get started and delve into these vital lessons that can truly strengthen our bonds and character. Today, I want to focus on a concept that is deeply rooted in our hearts, hasad, or envy. The term translated here as envy is al-hasad. According to Ibn Rajab, hasad is something that is very deeply embedded within us, just like man himself. It's a feeling where a person hates to see someone else being superior or better off than they are. And that, really, is the core of what Ibn Rajab describes as hasad. Now, let's consider the evils of hasad. This is not just a small flaw, it's a serious disease of the heart and a major sin. Interestingly, hasad was one of the very first sins committed in history. It's significant because it played a role in the fall of Satan. Satan's downfall was driven by two destructive qualities, pride and envy. These two diseases are interconnected and are at the root of many spiritual failures. In fact, the Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasizes this point in a powerful hadith. Do not be envious of one another. This simple instruction highlights how dangerous envy can be and how important it is for us to guard our hearts against it. So, as we go through this presentation, remember that these feelings of envy not only harm others, but also corrupt our own souls. Recognizing and controlling hasad is crucial in our journey of continuous learning and spiritual development. This slide highlights a practice known as artificial bidding, where someone who isn't the buyer or the seller steps in to raise the price of an item. The key point here is that this person has no genuine intention of purchasing the item. Instead, they might do this to help the seller by pushing the price higher, or simply to hurt the other buyer by making the item more expensive for them. The reason this behavior is prohibited, as mentioned in this hadith, is because it goes against the spirit of brotherhood and fairness. Instead of wishing for what's best for others, such actions are intentionally harmful. They're like robbing someone of their wealth. This practice clearly damages the love and unity among Muslims, which is why Islam discourages it strongly. You'll notice the emphasis on not artificially raising prices. That's a call for honest and fair dealings in trade, reinforcing the overall theme of integrity and brotherhood in our community. Let's take a closer look at this phrase from an Arabic perspective. According to the Arabic expert Abu Ubaid, the phrase means cutting off relations and boycotting. Essentially, it describes a situation where someone turns their back on another person, facing away and severing ties. This imagery highlights a complete disconnection, both physically and emotionally. Now, interestingly, in another narration from Sahih Muslim, the wording is slightly different. Instead of saying, do not turn your backs on each other, it emphasizes, do not cut off relations. The core idea is the same. It's about maintaining or breaking the bonds of brotherhood and community. This concept ties directly into our overall theme today, which is about fostering strong, compassionate relationships and avoiding actions that lead to division. Remember, the key takeaway here is the importance of staying connected and avoiding behaviors that cause separation and harm within our communities. Now, let's focus on a fundamental concept that the Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized clearly. He said, "You should be brothers one to another, treating each other with respect, without hatred and without working against each other in any way." This highlights the importance of brotherhood and unity among Muslims. It's not just about personal piety, but about how we relate to one another. We are encouraged to see ourselves as part of a larger brotherhood, an ummah, that is built on mutual respect, compassion, and support. This brotherhood is made up of the servants of Allah. When we think of ourselves this way, it reminds us that our relationship with others is rooted in our shared devotion to Allah. The verse, and be of servants of Allah, brethren, reinforces this idea. It calls us to view each other as brothers and sisters in faith, emphasizing that our identity goes beyond individual differences. In the context of our overall theme, this teaches us that true strength and unity come from recognizing our shared purpose and treating each other with kindness and respect. It's a powerful reminder that our actions toward one another reflect our faith and our commitment to Allah. Before we get into the specific acts that should be avoided, the Prophet, peace be upon him, begins with a very important preface. This is a general statement that sets the tone for everything that follows. It emphasizes that every Muslim is a brother to every other Muslim. No matter where someone is from, their nationality, their race, or their skin color, they are all part of this universal brotherhood. This idea of brotherhood is fundamental because it reminds us of our shared humanity and our collective responsibility towards one another. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, says, "A Muslim is the brother of a Muslim," he's highlighting that we should treat each other with kindness, respect, and compassion, simply because we are all part of the same spiritual family. This concept connects directly to the overall theme of our presentation, which is about fostering mutual respect and understanding within the Muslim community. Recognizing this brotherhood helps us avoid actions that could harm or divide us, reinforcing the importance of unity and brotherhood in our faith. Today, I want to highlight a very important teaching from the Prophet, peace be upon him. He stated that a Muslim would not commit dihom toward his brother. Dihom is a serious concept. It means injustice or wronging someone. The Prophet emphasized that this principle isn't limited to fellow Muslims. It's actually forbidden even when dealing with non-Muslims. He clearly said, he does not wrong him, which underlines that justice and fairness should be universal in our interactions. This point ties back to our overall theme of compassion and integrity, reminding us that true faith calls us to uphold justice in every circumstance, regardless of who we're dealing with. It's a powerful reminder that avoiding dihom is fundamental to living a righteous life and maintaining good relationships with everyone around us. Today, I want to talk about an important aspect of brotherhood and friendship. Generally, we think of a brother as someone we can rely on in times of need. This means that true brothers are there for each other when it really matters. But what happens when someone deserts another in their time of need? That's when we see whether they are truly a friend or just pretending to be one. In fact, deserting someone in their moment of need reveals a lot about the real nature of that relationship. It shows that they may not be a genuine friend or a close brother after all. This is a crucial point because brotherhood isn't just about words or superficial bonds. It's about support and loyalty. The Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized this in his teachings. He required Muslim brothers to help and assist each other, especially when one is in difficulty. The key idea here is that a true brother, a real friend, does not fail to help when needed. He does not fail him when he needs him. That's the essence of genuine brotherhood, being there for each other, especially in tough times. So, as we reflect on this, let's remember that our relationships should be built on loyalty, support, and mutual assistance, aligning with the teachings of the Prophet. This is how we strengthen our bonds and truly embody the spirit of brotherhood. In this slide, we see a hadith where the Prophet, peace be upon him, talks about the importance of honesty in the context of brotherly relations among Muslims. What he's emphasizing here is that trust is the foundation of any good relationship, especially among brothers in faith. When someone lies to another, they are betraying that trust. And trust, as we all know, is very fragile and hard to rebuild once broken. He also highlights that when a brother listens to his fellow Muslim, there's an expectation of truthfulness. No one would expect their brother to intentionally tell them something false or misleading. The phrase, "he does not lie to him," underscores the value of honesty. It's not just about avoiding falsehood, but actively maintaining integrity in our relationships. This ties into the broader theme of our presentation, which is about building a community based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. Upholding truthfulness isn't just about personal virtue. It's about strengthening our bonds as a community and fulfilling our responsibilities toward one another. Let's take a closer look at the concepts on this slide. Pride and arrogance, much like envy, are among the earliest sins committed by humans. In fact, Satan himself exemplifies this perfectly. He was both arrogant and envious of Adam. Now, what does that mean? Satan believed he was superior to Adam, and that sense of self-importance led him to refuse obeying Allah's command. His pride made him think he was better, which in turn made him rebel. This is a crucial point. Arrogance and pride are very dangerous and threatening diseases for the soul. Even a small amount of pride in the heart can have severe consequences, potentially leading someone to hellfire. It's a reminder that no matter how small, arrogance can be a destructive force. And a key part of this is that Satan, despite his arrogance, still shows no contempt for Adam. This highlights how pride can distort perceptions and relationships, making us blind to humility and the importance of obedience. So, as we reflect on this, remember that humility is vital, and arrogance is a risk we must constantly guard against. It's a warning rooted in the story of Satan, emphasizing how dangerous pride can be if left unchecked. Copyright 2026, by Continuous Learning Development. Taqwa, as the Prophet peace be upon him demonstrated in this hadith, is something that resides in the heart. It's not something you can wear on your chest or display outwardly. In fact, only Allah truly knows who has taqwa. You might see someone from the outside and think they are contemptible or insignificant from a worldly perspective. But in the eyes of Allah, that person could be very beloved because of their taqwa. This brings us to an important point. How can anyone look down on another person when they don't know what's truly in their heart? They have no way of knowing who is better in Allah's sight. All the external judgments we make are irrelevant. Because the key measure is taqwa, this inner consciousness of Allah, which is only known to him. The Prophet pointed to his chest 3 times and said, "Piety is here," reminding us that true piety resides in the heart, not in outward appearances. So, the main takeaway is that our focus should be on cultivating taqwa internally, rather than judging others based on superficial factors. Let's take a closer look at what the Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized here. A Muslim should never show contempt or look down upon another Muslim. This is a fundamental principle in our faith. The Prophet made it very clear through both his words and his actions that belittling or disrespecting a fellow Muslim is a serious matter. It's not just a minor mistake, it's a grave sin. Think about it. Allah created human beings as noble creatures, deserving of respect and dignity. For us, the greatest blessing from Allah is faith. When someone is blessed with faith, it elevates their status in the eyes of Allah. So no one has the right to be arrogant or condescending towards another Muslim who has been blessed with that faith. The phrase, "It is enough of evil for a person to hold his brother Muslim in contempt," really hits home. It reminds us that looking down on our fellow Muslims is not just a small flaw, it's a significant evil. This connects to the overall theme of humility and brotherhood in our faith. We are all equal in the eyes of Allah, and respecting each other is part of our spiritual duty. This slide emphasizes one of the most fundamental messages in Islam regarding how Muslims should interact with each other. It highlights that the sanctity of a Muslim's life is highly valued. The Prophet, peace be upon him, chose the most meaningful moments to teach that avoiding harm to fellow Muslims is of utmost importance. When we talk about blood, the message is clear. Except in cases where the law permits, a Muslim must avoid shedding the blood of another Muslim. It's about preventing violence and promoting peace within our community. Additionally, the principle extends beyond just life. It's about respecting the entire person. The saying, "all of a Muslim is inviolable to another Muslim," captures this beautifully. It means that a Muslim's blood, wealth, and honor are all protected. These core values remind us that our interactions should be rooted in respect, compassion, and justice. Connecting this to the overall theme, it underscores the importance of brotherhood and mutual respect in Islam. It's a call for us to uphold these principles in our daily lives, fostering a society built on trust and peace. Now, let's discuss some vital principles from the teachings of Islam regarding the inviolability of a Muslim's core aspects. First, we have wealth. It's emphasized that a Muslim's blood is inviolable, and so is his wealth, just like his life. This means that no Muslim should harm another Muslim's lawful wealth in any way. It's important to understand that intentionally damaging someone's economic well-being or prosperity goes against the core of brotherhood. Such actions can foster hatred and animosity among Muslims, which we must avoid at all costs. Next, we turn to honor. Just as we respect a person's life and wealth, we must also respect their honor. This involves being extremely careful about what we say about others. Attacking someone's honor without just cause, especially according to Sharia law, is not acceptable. The key takeaway here is that all of a Muslim's being, his blood, wealth, and honor, are inviolable to another Muslim. This principle underscores the importance of mutual respect, compassion, and brotherhood. It reminds us that maintaining these boundaries is essential for a healthy, united Muslim community. As Muslims, we are all servants of Allah, and it's essential that we see each other as brothers. This brotherhood isn't just something we say or think about, it's something we actively practice every day. It means treating one another with kindness, respect, and genuine care in our actions. Now, when it comes to assessing a person's worth, the most important measure is their taqwa, or consciousness of Allah. It's not about outward things like wealth, social status, or lineage. These are temporary and superficial. Instead, true worth lies in the heart, how mindful and obedient a person is to Allah. And the reality is, only Allah truly knows the level of someone's taqwa, so we should focus on cultivating it ourselves and being mindful of others' inner qualities. In summary, the key points here remind us that brotherhood is a vital part of our faith, and that our real value is measured by our taqwa in the sight of Allah. This aligns with the overall theme of our presentation, emphasizing inner virtues over external appearances. Today, I want to emphasize the core message of this hadith, which is about the sanctity and respect we owe to our fellow Muslims. Essentially, every Muslim's dignity and rights are inviolable. This means we're required to treat each other with the utmost respect and good behavior at all times. In particular, the hadith highlights that a Muslim's blood is inviolable. We must avoid any actions that could lead to harm or injury, whether legally or illegally. The sanctity of life is a fundamental principle we all need to honor. Similarly, a Muslim's wealth must also be respected. We shouldn't use or take someone's property without their permission. Respecting private property is vital, and only with the brother's consent should any action be taken involving his possessions. Finally, the hadith stresses the importance of protecting our brother's honor. We need to be mindful of our words and actions, making sure we don't harm someone's reputation unjustly. In summary, this message reinforces that treating our fellow Muslims with respect, kindness, and integrity is not just good manners. It's a core part of our faith. It connects to the overall theme of brotherhood and the importance of maintaining harmony and trust within our community.